Hello, and welcome back to my much anticipated podcast, episode 2, coming to you late. I'm happy to be here, and today's podcast is about humor me. So um, I have a couple of things for you to humor me about. So as you know, as I've spoke very briefly about this on the last um, podcast, that I have had mental health struggles. And in those mental health struggles, I have had anxiety, depression, sleep deprived induced psychosis. And the catalyst always seems to be some kind of serious relationship or a bunch of heartbreaks that were small or whatever it may be. And it happened 5 times. So this is the part where I'm going to have you humor me because I have gone through a series of investigations of my health in general to find clues to point me to a direction that may have something to do with why I am so susceptible to these kinds of illnesses. On top of my my immunity not being the greatest, starting from when I was working with children and getting sick over and over and over again. And then one of those illnesses after a breakup and loss of my apartment, going back to my parents' house, became an issue. So I had a very stressful period of time where I was in my sister's room, not even my own room, in my parents' house. And she wasn't living in there, but I was occupying it while she was away, and it became more and more sleep deprived, more and more depressed, more and more delusional, paranoid, and eventually hallucinating. And I realize that if you put your body under a certain amount of stress, a certain amount of emotional wreckage, or someone else induces those feelings of abandonment, neglect, abuse, even physical assaults, even. And yes, it's my mind, but also the world's kind of effed up place. Not to be crude or anything, but the world is a little effed up. This is why I built my own little sanctuary in my backyard. But the whole idea that this is a me, like a personal failure in some way, that I have this mental illness or these escalations, if you will, of my mind misfiring or connecting wrong to completely change my environment and the things I see and feel and touch and taste and hear is hard for me to accept. So, on my journey of in and out of hospitals and always coming back to this therapeutic project, which is insanely beneficial. I also have been doing a lot of research on different things like HPV, cervical cancer. Um, Most recently, I thought I had a lithium deficiency, which is impossible. You don't have lithium in your body, but also kind of confusing because the test results showed negative, but you should be at zero, is what I'm trying to say. And so the issue of needing lithium, which is a therapy drug, it's like a give her a little bit of salt for her food kind of thing to make it more enjoyable. So lithium makes your life, some people have more enjoyable lives because it combats anxiety and depression and mania. And sure, that could have been a success, but also I'm very sensitive to medications. So medications, I pick up on side effects very, very easily. As you can see, I'm a white girl with fair skin, which has nothing to do with what I'm saying. But I'm sensitive, is what I'm saying. I'm very sensitive, body and mind, and all throughout my skin. Like, I probably have eczema in my feet. Like, I pick up on things very easily. Emotional, subconscious, physical, um, foods, like everything. I pick it up. It just like comes with the territory of like having a big family and kind of like dealing with all the ins and outs and integral relationships between them and between them and me and them, all of them. So my mind is conditioned to always be constantly processing things and trying to figure out solutions and interactions. What does this mean? What does that mean? They move their hand that way. Like, how does this affect me? Like, all of that. Let me just tell you that a big family comes with all of that. And so it can be hard to process everyone you see, everyone you see out in public all the time, all day, all different places, plus like knowing all that knowledge of how these people work in my house, being homeschooled, and then also integrating that into society as a whole. Once you're in college, you're working as a teacher's aide, you're going to friends' houses, you're having boyfriends, you're like going to other towns, like you're picking it all up. And for me, especially since I live in a town that is very unsafe, I will just say it's very unsafe. Don't come find me because never mind. Don't go down that path. Okay, so um the things that I have had to process. This is where you're gonna have to humor me. The things that I had to process in regards to living a normal life in the town that I was in with the people that I were in relationships with, friendships with, my brothers, my sisters, like, um, on top of that, their friends, and then those churches and that those people's houses, like, this is where it got tricky for me, kind of, is understanding, not only not understanding myself, but like not really understanding all of society as a whole. um, I still get tripped up because apparently when I hallucinate, let's go back to that. When I hallucinate, there's this other world, like, that is more direct and more like, not vulgar, but yeah, vulgar. Like, there's a more just like straight cut of this is what this means and that's what that means. And this bad thing could happen if I act a certain way or whatever. Like, it was more taking me back to, I guess, in my home, I guess. I guess, if you want to say that. And when I had am still broadening my horizons of what being in this reality means, like this world, like, okay, you go to the store, you pick out your food, you go to the cash register, you get the money, and you get the receipt, and then you go home, and then you cook the food, and like it's a whole process for all kinds of different things, and like barely leaving the house, barely going places, whatever. It's like a culture shock. I feel like I'm kind of like those people on Plathville where they just like they have never experienced Coca-Cola. It's like life is my Coca-Cola. And so I am honestly still figuring out how to read people and not just know. Like, not just know, oh, this is how this person may be feeling, or my assumptions, but knowing that, like, the people who I was raised with pretty well, kind of just understanding. And it's hard for me to go out into the wild and just understand people because it's not as simple. It's not like they've all been in the same house with me for the last 33 years and I can just understand how they might be feeling or understand how to talk to them or how to get them to a place where we can talk open and honestly. Like, it's just like a misfire because you're not on the same wavelength. But let's put that whole interpersonal slash social thing to the side and say, well, what if it is a medical condition? What if it is like something going on in your body and then that also sends wavelengths to your brain and it sends, let's say, poison or something that is just like so toxic to your mind that your mind just does not know what to do. And that leads me to the possibility of kidney disease, possibility of pancreatitis, possibility of heart disease, which I do have, but it's not like it's gonna really send too much into my mind. It's kind of just there and it kind of just sucks. But a heart disease is slight, mitral valve leaky slightly. So, what I have come to, everything has checked off. bill of health, check, 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 check. Until today, and this is what you're gonna have to humor me on again, is that I may have a disorder. I've kind of always felt it, if it is real, and I am like 60 to 80% sure that this is what it is. That it relates to relationships. It has to do with my hormones and my mind and a part of my body. It has to do with me being a woman. It has to do with my mind, I guess. Like, it has to do with all of social, mind, brain, heart, because your heart is like in it, and then reproduction. So, my reproduction system is probably a little bit needing help. My thought is that I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. I guess I will go into the symptoms because I am already spilling my guts on this video, on this podcast, but the symptoms are irregular or non-existent period, which I have irregular periods. I have a period every 2 months or so. I've gone into my gynecologist, or a gynecologist, not mine because I don't want her. She's not a good gynecologist. Um, and she told me, oh, it just depends on your family, your mom, your sisters, your grandma. But that's all I got. That's all the information that I got from her. And then I was thinking my mom, my sisters, my grandma, all for the most part have regular periods and have no problem conceiving and having children. For the most part. We'll see. Hopefully, God willing, that's true. And then, um, but this happened. So I was in a car accident. Someone rear-ended me, and then the truck behind him rear-ended him, or the other way around. I'm hoping it's the one that has the insurance that will cover it, who caused it, and that's what they seem to think. So, this car accident may be a blessing in disguise because not only will I be able to get my back fixed from the whiplash, and also I got money for a car, and also I will probably get compensation for the pain and suffering. But it could be a blessing in disguise because not only did I go to the ER for the accident and the whiplash and the stomach pain, I also went back a few days or a week or so later because I had abnormal bleeding. And then I got an ultrasound while I was at the ER just so that they could make sure that I wasn't experiencing anything serious in my stomach uterus area. And so when they did the ultrasound, I was diagnosed with a polyp in my uterus. And so polyps are common, I guess, but they can also cause infertility and just like trouble conceiving and carrying through with the pregnancy. So that's something that's kind of something I'll have to process and work with my doctors to possibly take care of, get the polyp out, or try to like remedy it or something like that with lifestyle medication, whatever it may be, or surgery, which I'm scared of, but I can do it. And so this got me to think about my diagnosis, if they will, if the test turns out that I have it. This got me to think about the possibility of PCOS because I had heard it mentioned before, and me, like me off of 2 podcasts. I'm sorry. It's my habit to go deep dive into things, medical, mental, anything, anything, anything. Like it could be an interaction with a person, and I will deep dive that thing and deep dive it in ChatGPT, Google. Like I will talk to friends about it. I will podcast about it. I will stream about it. I will YouTube it. I will write about it sometimes. I will reason about it. My friends, it's a relationship, whatever it is, like whatever is catching my interest, I investigate. And I should probably be a private investigator or something, um, but this is good for now because if I have PCOS, then this is enough. Um, so I deep dived in PCOS and figured out about how it affects your mind. It could cause anxiety, depression, bipolar if it gets to that point where it's a little bit worse than anxiety and depression. Then also I've it's common to be known in early like from adolescence, if not then from 15 to 30, which I didn't ever test for it. I don't know, not until today. And so I will honestly be just figuring it out this week. And that sucks, but everything happens for a reason, is what my brother used to say. And so I will be just figuring that out. But past the time, I'm 33, past the time where I needed to figure it out at 22 when I was having all these issues and overloading my mind and body and all of the things that happen in life that are expected of a woman or a person in general, um and my brain power not being even there with social interactions and things, which they call that sometimes autism, which I have from last podcast. And so the PCOS is a contributing factor. It's not everything, but it makes a lot of sense. It contributes to fatigue, sleep apnea. It is a physical pain, having heavy periods, or like your PMS is extended, and mood swings and hormones, just impulses, like back pain, digestion issues, like all of that, like it starts to make sense. Like everything that I have researched, it started to make sense because of these symptoms. And I severely hope, this sounds weird, but severely hope that it's either this or there's some sort of immunodeficiency, which is not autoimmune disorders. So I've looked into that too. Lyme disease. I've looked into Lyme disease. I looked into um, RA, which is not like that relevant. I've looked into, I know there's thyroid, like I know there's other autoimmune disorders that I did test for and it came back negative or positive because I don't have it. And so so all of these things that I've looked into have some symptoms of this disorder. And I just, at this point, just want answers. I want answers. I can't just be like, it can't just be my mind. I don't think I'm alone in my mind that creative. I think there's some social sexual element in play, like my uterus, like, because a lot of my illnesses, a lot of my hallucinations revolved around sexual assault, murder, rape. Sorry, I'm not supposed to say that word on the internet. Um, but I won't say that again. um, it revolved around all the worst things that you could do to someone, at someone, and it wasn't coming from me, which is kind of like I wasn't the offender. So that kind of goes along with, which I'm not willing to share, is experiences that were not pleasant. And and so like it's not just in like up here area. It's more like those thoughts. And then, somehow being chased or thinking someone killed someone or this happened or that happened or this happened because of me, or paranoid thoughts, like things change me around me. Like I can't and I won't get into it. I can't because it's like too big for me to explain. And then also I won't because um these podcasts aren't necessarily for that whole realm. It's kind of like I've practiced talking on stream, reading the Bible, talking journal entries, and then my health is hopefully today coming to a conclusion, and then I will be able to put it away for good and just have an easygoing homemaker lifestyle, is the gist of it. So, it will be a little bit of a journey understanding myself and like how to treat myself, how to take care of if I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and how that affects my mind and my mood and my mental disorders, psychosis, sleep and stress-induced psychosis. But that is a long time coming because I started having this illness at 22 and I am now 33. 11 years worth of worrying, hoping it doesn't come back, taking medicine, tapering off some medication that has all obvious side effects that were hurting my quality of life, and now thinking that the medication that I've tapered down to just the one or the two, Zyprexa, hydroxyzine, feeling like those also have affected my physical health, mental health, and hoping that getting on less or altogether quitting eventually is going to be sustainable for me if I change my lifestyle. So eating habits and exercise and more therapy, more art therapy, building this house, doing things in the house, being creative, playing with my animals, just like holistically treating this at the same time as this, and also like my stomach and my heart, and just keeping up with the doctor appointments, which are just so much. Just keep bugging them. Just keep bugging them, telling them exactly what's going on and what I think it might be, and keep researching, even though it's kind of driving me crazy. I have to get answers. Once I figure out something could be wrong, I have to get answers, so I end up going to emergency room or getting a doctor's appointment right away. And losing sleep because of the research. I feel like I'm a medical student doing all-nighters of research of this could be a possibility, that could be a possibility, when if it is something so simple as PCOS, and they did not, never, like the doctor today told me, they only check it if they think it's a possibility, and they've never checked the levels. And so it has led me to believe that I could possibly even sue for damages, maltreatment, overdoses, like things that happen in the hospital, and humor me here. I just want answers. So, like, you don't really have to tell me, oh yeah, I think it's PCOS. I will get the answers. But thank you for letting me talk about it. Okay. I think that will be the end of this very long 33 minutes. Wait. 33 minutes. This longer than normal because usually, yes, last podcast, sorry, I have to get the terms down. The last podcast was only 30. I will keep it around 30 for each episode. Yeah. I don't know what the next video is. Not video, I keep on saying that. The next podcast is going to be about, because it's really on a whim. Like my whole life is a whim. My whole life is a whim, and I don't have direction, and I don't think I want direction until I know what's going on. So yeah, there you have it. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next podcast, video, short, live stream, whatever you want. Bye!